September has been an excellent month for my overall investing portfolio, and it is why today, as every beginning of the month, I'll share with you my full investing portfolio update for the month of October of 2025. As always, we'll first take a look at what are the different individual companies and ETFs that I hold directly in my investment portfolio. And then we'll take a look at what are the different sectors and how much money I've been able to generate completely passively from my dividend investments. Plus, at the end of the video, I'll share with you all the transactions that I've made over the past month. When we jump into the technology sector in my portfolio with all the different individual stocks that I hold, you can see that I personally hold multiple GAFAM companies such as Apple, Meta, Google, and Amazon, as well as Elon Musk companies Tesla. These companies are pretty much all worth a big portion of my total investing portfolio, and it is also interesting to see all the gain that I've made, especially on a company like Tesla and on a company like Meta. For the energy sector, the picks haven't changed, where I still hold two of the biggest energy companies in Canada, which are Enbridge and Pembina. In terms of Enbridge, you can see that it is currently worth about 11% of my total assets, which is one of my largest positions in my entire portfolio. And you can see that overall, these companies are not only giving some great dividends, but also have been giving some great growth over the past couple of months and years. Talking about another company that has been exploding these past couple of months, it is the Toronto Dominion Bank, which is currently worth about 6% of my total assets. And at the moment, I currently have some unrealized profit on this business of about 57% compared to the average price that I've paid for these shares. In the financial sector, I also hold one of the largest insurance companies in the entire world, which is Manulife, that is also worth about 6.5% of my assets. And on their side, they've also been growing quite well in terms of their unrealized profit these past couple of years, with some unrealized gain of about 108%. Unfortunately, I can't say the same for the only communication company that I hold in my portfolio, which is TELUS, that has been down of about 18% compared to my average price. And it is also one of the main reasons why I've been thinking lately to sold a few shares of this company to reinvest the money somewhere else. In terms of the only consummation company that I hold in my portfolio, I have the Couche-Tard businesses that is currently worth about 4% of my total assets. And at the moment, this company currently have some unrealized profit of about 30%. I do also have a few shares of the materials company Savaria that is currently worth about slightly more than 3.3% of my total assets. And on its side, it currently has some unrealized profit of slightly less than 40%. Finally, another position that I am thinking about selling lately is the real estate investment trust company that I have, which is Raocan. I have personally been thinking about selling this business for the next couple of weeks and months because I am looking at the moment to buy my next property, meaning that obviously I'll need more liquidity and I won't necessarily need any more REITs in my portfolio. Nevertheless, at the moment, this company remains pretty much at the same value, so it has some unrealized profit of about 40%. Finally, for the last single stock company that I hold in my portfolio, it is the 5N+ company, which is currently massively up of more than 280%. In terms now of the ETFs that I hold in my portfolio, you can find that the first one is the famous Vanguard S&P 500 index ETF with the ticker VFV. On its part, this ETF, tracking the 500 largest American companies by valuation, currently represents slightly more than 11% of my total assets, and I currently have some unrealized profit on this position of close to 60%. Then I also have invested a certain portion of my total investments into the iShares Core Equity Portfolio ETF with the ticker XEQT, and on its part, this ETF that only represents slightly less than 4% of my assets is currently up close to 40% compared to my average price. After, for my ETF tracking the overall Canadian market, I've decided to invest into the iShares S&P TSX ETF with the ticker XIU. On its part, this ETF is also worth about 3% of my total assets, and it currently has some unrealized profit of close to 40%. Then I also have a few shares of the famous Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF with the ticker SCHD. So on its part, this fund is only worth 1% of my total assets, and it is all held within my RRSP, and you can see that I currently have some unrealized profit of only about 13% on it. Finally, for my liquidity reserve, which will be pretty important in terms of my next real estate projects, I've decided to invest into the Global X High Interest Savings ETF with the ticker cash. And at the moment, you can see that this position is currently worth about 7.5% of my total assets, but eventually I want to increase this ponderation to at least 10 to 20% of them. So globally, you can see that my whole investing portfolio is currently worth about $188,000, which represents some unrealized profit of close to $69,000 or some profit of 57.55%. Here you can have a closer look at my ETFs portion in my portfolio that is currently worth about $65,000. But over the next couple of months and years, I want to increase this ponderation to represent more of the current asset ponderation that it has compared to the individual stocks. Talking about that, when we look at the sectoral distribution of my money, you can see that most of it is invested either in the technology sector or in the ETFs. Then the two other sectors that are pretty important are the energy as well as the financial sectors. And finally, we find the other sectors such as the real estate, the materials, the consumption, as well as the communication sectors. In terms of the money that I've been able to generate completely passively from my investments over the past month of September, you can see that this number is of slightly more than $617. And this number has been higher compared to my average because I've received over the past month multiple payouts from different companies such as Enbridge, Savaria, and Manulife, which actually brings my year-to-date total to over $2,700. In terms of the different transactions that I've made over the past month, you can see that I've been increasing my cash liquidity as well as buying more shares of VAV and of XQT. But now on your side, if you're looking to find what are the most promising stocks to invest in for the month of October of 2025, well, check out the video that's going to be right over here, and I will see you soon. Peace.